Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an incredible, game-changing, revolutionary webinar and discussion brought to you by Real Life Trading. Once again, we're doing something that has never been done to date in a way that we plan on doing it. This is going to be such an intriguing and amazing webinar, and I know that everyone's going to have a lot of questions, which is what we're here for, and that's why we're hosting this live event. There's already over 165 people here live in person. And for those of you who might be watching the recording, either on YouTube or wherever you might be, thank you for being here. First and foremost, I want to imagine something for a moment. Let's pretend that there was a capability that existed for you to have brain scanning neuroscience information that determined and allowed for you to be able to determine or figure out if you are in the state of flow for your trades to be even better, for you to get more information, for you to be able to figure out how your performance is going to be linked to how you're feeling. All of those things we're going to get to. But more importantly, what if you finally got paid to be a full-time trader? And who would be able to do that, and how would they be able to do that? Today in this presentation, we're going to be discussing an incredible, revolutionary, absolutely game-changing, not only technology that's related to neuroscience and the future of technology, but also how you can be a part of something that's going to be a remarkable opportunity for you and your family. But before we do it, I'm going to do a fantastically fast story. This time last year, I was with a dear friend of mine named Manveer, and Manveer was on a yacht with myself, with Matt DeLong. We were cruising around Croatia. This is a great example why it's one of the best assets that you can ever buy is a ticket into the room. So I'm with her, and she talks about one of her friends named David. Now, Manveer loves trading. She's all into it. She's extremely mesmerized by trading, and she's learning to become an incredibly profitable trader. And she was telling me that she has a friend who has developed a technology that can determine if your brain is in the state of flow based on your brain waves, based on all kinds of fun science terms. And when I'm talking about the state of flow, I mean a beautiful increased technology that's an application for you to be able to figure out how you're trading. And what we were doing in this conversation was really just having this conversation about the future of trading, about the future of artificial intelligence, about the future of machine learning, trying to really come up with new ideas, new concepts, what can really change in the world and how it's going to adapt into trading. And that led me to meeting a gentleman I'm about to introduce you. You can probably see his beautiful face right now. And this conversation that I had with him absolutely blew my mind. So I want to bring really quick some attention to a gentleman who is here by the name of Dr. David Bach. And David is not only a doctor, but he's also a neuroscientist, and he's a serial entrepreneur. He spent the past 15 years monitoring his own brain and body, but more importantly than that, he created a company called Optios. And Optios has the goal of leveraging cutting-edge neuroscience to meaningfully improve human performance and the human experience. AKA, he started working with brain monitoring creations, technology, and information, and again, eventually applied that to the trading world. And what we're going to be discussing today is something that you've never heard of before, and that's okay. We're going to be giving you a lot of information. You're going to ask us a lot of questions, but we're here today in this webinar, in this presentation, and potentially in this recording to walk you through something that is so fantastic to me and world changing and industry shifting that it's almost hard to put into words. So David, I'm going to bring you in, my man, to help us learn more about you and your incredible experience and your fantastic background and how we're creating something remarkable together.
All right. Well, listen, thank you. Thank you so much, Jeremy. I really appreciate it. If you could flip the slide. First of all, I want to just say it's a great pleasure to be here. And Jeremy, thank you so much for giving me and us the opportunity to be brought into your world. during the last decade or so, the US government has spent over $7 billion, largely on top secret research, studying how you can use neuroscience to make warfighters better. And so I want to tell you about this to give you a sense of what it took to get us to this point where we can now measure the zone state. So one of the most important projects that they did in the course of this research, which is illustrated on this slide, was a really simple one. They asked the question, can I use neuroscience to distinguish the difference between an expert and a novice brain? And the task that they picked for that is marksmanship, shooting a gun, because it's the military, everybody's got to shoot a gun, and it's easy to tell who's good or not. Yep. So they scanned the brains of 100 of the best snipers in the military, and then they compared that to novices. And what they discovered, again, kind of illustrated on this slide, is that the expert brain knows how to get into a mental state that they call the zone or flow. And the novice doesn't know how to get there. And all 100 of the experts, their brain got into this state. And what I think is so cool, if you just look at the picture, is just with the naked eye, you can see the difference between these states, right? That zone state looks a very specific way in the brain. The novice state looks, kind of totally different. And then they went on and they evaluated, how you can use this in a variety of areas and how you can train it. And so today there's technology that came out of that research, which is used for things like Navy SEALs training and the like. 4 years ago, I started this company, Optios, for the purposes of trying to leverage this kind of technology. And so the first thing we did is we bought exclusive rights to this intellectual property to apply it in a civilian arena. And so for the last, let's say, 3 years or so, we've been operating in stealth mode, evaluating this notion of the zone and how you can use it. And one of the areas we've looked at, like Jeremy said, is trading. And we've had some amazing, results. So Jeremy, if you could flip to the next slide, I want to just tell you what we've got. So over these 3 years, we've been monitoring brainwaves of day traders. And at this point, we've looked at over 30 traders. We've looked at over 200,000 trades. And the bottom line is this: we can look at the brain, monitor it, and identify in the brain, exactly like Jeremy said, when the brain is in the zone state and when it's not. And with that, we can predict in advance, just based on your brain waves, which trades are going to be profitable or not, with 62% accuracy. So let me say that again.
say it again for the
illustration of the enthusiasm. Yeah, it's I know it's really, fucking incredible.
Incredible.
We can monitor brainwaves, and using essentially artificial intelligence, looking at those brainwaves, we can identify in any trader when your brain is in the zone, when it's not. And then with that, in advance, based purely on the brainwave, we can predict with about 62% accuracy which trades are going to make money or lose money. And again, this has been studied over 3 years, 200,000 trades. The sample size here is huge. You can run statistics. The chance of this being a fluke is basically zero.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly exciting technology.
Yep. And for those who are here and those who are watching and listening, you probably feel like we're about to sell you something, right? In the sense of, hey, we're about to say, hey, you should buy this thing and it's going to help you. That's not what we're here for at all. In fact, we're going to flip that entire description and that entire programming in your brain, because what's about to happen and what we're going to be offering is the opportunity to be a part of this. And obviously, it relates to trading. So what we've all done is created an algorithm that takes the trade once your brain is in this flow state. And because if you are in a flow state, you perform significantly better, the algorithm is also quite substantially profitable. And so it would be a financial win for all of us to actually have you be a part of this and what's referred to the center book management model. So now we're going to be talking a little bit more in detail about what everything looks like. And we're going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes on this slide. And then we're going to give you something that's so magnificently wild and incredible that your brains are going to explode in a good way. So David, let's continue to go with this information and talk a little bit about what's happening.
Well, thank you. Let me first clarify, your brain doesn't explode with this technology. It's FDA approved and it's completely safe. So it only explodes metaphorically, but the truth is your brain is very safe with it. So and what you're about to see, we're live doing it. So the way this is working is, at the moment, we're early on. We got 17 traders wired up at the moment. And, when I say wired up, what that means is they get up in the morning. These are basically professional day traders, right? They get up in the morning and they put a headset on. This headset, which you can see in the picture, weighs, a few ounces, much less than a pound. Takes 4 or 5 minutes to put on. Once you put it on, you don't notice it at all. So they're monitoring it. They're trading their book just like they normally do. But while they're trading, we're monitoring brainwaves. And so every time they make a trade, our algorithm is spitting out a prediction about whether or not that trade is going to be profitable. And you can see that in the middle thing there. And the number is, somewhere between, 0 and 100%, kind of how likely is it we think it's going to be profitable. Okay. Then using a separate pool of capital on the far right, what's called a center book. What's happening is we've got an algorithm which is automatically duplicating the trades, but resizing them based on your brain state. So basically, if you look at the examples, let's say it's 10:30 in the morning, a trader buys 400 shares of Facebook, and we look at it and say, you know what, they're not in a good brain state. We think it's less than a 50-50 chance this thing is going to make money. So our algorithm is going to say, I'm not going to do that trade. But then, 15 minutes go by, they buy Salesforce. Now, all of a sudden, the thing is going through the roof. It says 80% chance this is going to be likely. We're confident enough. We're not just going to duplicate the trade. We're going to double the bet. So instead of 750 shares now, you buy 1,500. And so we're running this side by side. And the bottom line is it's kind of outperforming the trader in a very substantial way because, you're right 62% of the time. And so, it varies by trader, but kind of think of it as if you're making 2 or 3% in the trader's book, we're maybe making 7 or 8% in the center book, which is a huge difference. And then, actually, we've even got situations where a trader might lose a little money, but the center book, because it's picking out the good trades, can be profitable. And the way we're working it is we're doing profit sharing, so everybody benefits. That the trader, by putting the brain set on, is participating in the upside that we're getting from duplicating, his or her trades. So, that's basically the thing. People are having a very, it's very exciting. We'll show you also the reports we give people about what their brainwaves are showing, but it seems like it's it's just doing really well. And I think we're very, very excited about the prospects. And of course, we're just at the beginning of building something.
Correct. And the beautiful part about this team, and Amanda's typing this into the chat page, she says, this sounds like a win-win-win-win situation. That is correct. And to just reiterate what David mentioned, so these are the tickers, right? This is just an example. So Meta being, the old Facebook, and CRM, Jerry, being Salesforce. These are just example tickers of a day trade, essentially saying that if you took a day trade with Meta and, at the time that you were taking the trade, your brain's, the scan, the information, this technology said that you're only in a 35% of a flow state. The center book, the algorithm would not replicate that trade. But if and when 15 minutes later you take a trade on Salesforce, then, oh, wow, that person is in a flow state. Let's go ahead and take that trade and increase additional sizing. So all of that information is just an example, but the truth is this is already happening right now. This is already running in the background in a humongous sample size, as David mentioned just a moment ago. Brian said, interesting to see how this works for a beginner trader as myself, proving to be a pro trader. True. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment, Brian, because there's a large group, a large amount of people who are here, almost 300 right now. And we're going to kind of get some information as we progress forward. But here's where it gets extremely interesting. Jose said, I'm ready to buy right now. Beautiful, but we're not selling you anything. In fact, type in a 3 if you would like some more information about where we're going with this. All right, there's some 3s coming in. Here's what's fantastic. I don't think you're all ready for this, but here we go anyway. What if David and myself got together, created the opportunity for you to get paid to wear this? Now, when we say paid, we do mean you actually receive income to trade as you're trading now. Really? We're serious. Yeah, it is kind of crazy talk. And not only are we going to pay you, we're going to pay you a mortgage payment. Yes. So $2,800 per month plus profit sharing. Now, there are some criteria. There are some qualifications we're going to go over in just a moment. Not all of you are going to qualify, and that's okay. But for those of you who have been trading for a while, for those of you who have a decent account size, and for those of you who are really, really excited about this opportunity, I want to make sure that you're aware that there's 2 extremely awesome pieces here. Number one, the fact that, yes, you're going to get paid. Yes, you can make a bunch of money. All of those things are fantastic. And you know me, I'm all about making money. I love money. I love what it does. Money is an incredible expansion tool of the heart. It provides more of what you already are internally. But this is also the opportunity to experience a game-changing, revolutionary technology that's not available anywhere else in the world. This is a one-of-a-kind program that Real Life Trading is bringing to you all right now. And again, this is just an amazing, almost perfect coincidence that David and myself even connected. So when you start piecing all the dots together, this is the first of its kind. And there are going to be some qualifications. There are going to be some information, but we are releasing this publicly for the first time ever. So let's continue and get some more information. Here is how you can qualify. So let's do a quick quiz. So first and foremost, it is for my US-based traders. So US-based for right now. Obviously, you can all be aware that there's going to be some huge future implications, changes, updates, new creations, right? If I had to remind you, David is a neuroscientist. So yeah, he's smart. He's thought about what we're doing already 4 or 5 years down the road. But right now, you have to be in the US. So that being said, type in a 7 if you're in the US. Now, we're going to be posting a link in just a few moments for everyone to kind of, for those who qualify to kind of fill out a form so that you can be part of this incredible one-of-a-kind program. But if you're not in the US, I apologize. I still love you. You're an incredible person, but this isn't going to be for you right now. And that's because, so that you're aware, David's team is going to be coming to your house and helping install this whole thing. Okay? So that's why it has to be US based. There's a physical thing that's going to be happening when you speak to David and his team, and they have almost like a little bit of a job interview, because really, I mean, this is a job, right? We're paying you, we're hiring you, we're giving you $2,800 a month to trade. Okay. So that being said, you are going to need at least $100,000 of your own trading capital. So if you have $5,000, $10,000, you're trading options, you're day trading Forex, whatever, I love you, amazing, but this isn't for you. You need to bring at least $100,000 to the table, and you need to be trading. So you're going to be in front of the computer, you're going to be placing trades. And one of the reasons that is so that we can continue to get a larger sample size, we can continue to get more brainwave information, but also so we can make more money, you can make more money, we can all win together. So this is for my serious active traders, right? Eric and Jose both asked, can it work in the RLT funded account? No, not yet. That'll be in the future. But as of right now, this is your own capital. You have to be in the 6-figure ballpark, and you're bringing your capital to the table. Now, the beautiful part as we continue through this is right now you're trading equities. But Jason, you ready for some cool news? In the very, very near future, we'll also be offering futures, cryptos, and options. So all of that's going to be on the table, but for right now, we're referring to equities. So my equities trader. So for those of you who are actively day trading stocks on the US markets, you live in the US, you're bringing six figures to the table, and you're really, really into trading, and you're also enthusiastic about wearing this brain monitoring headset while you trade and making money to do so. This is pretty much the quiz. So I realize that we're taking half of you and saying, hey, half of you can't do this. And that's all right, because we know a lot of you are trading with, potentially, depending on where you're watching this, you might be trading options right now, and you're trading your aggressively, and you're doing futures trading, and you're trading with less than $50,000. That's okay. But for those of you who are serious traders and you know who you are, we want to bring you a part of this incredible one-of-a-kind program. Okay?
Hey, Jeremy, let me just jump in. There's a lot of questions. I mean, there's a lot of questions here, about the criteria. I want to talk about the 30 to 40 round trips a day. So we need, in order to train the system to your brain, we need almost 1,000 trades. Because, basically we're running machine learning on your brain. So you can imagine, let's say you do 1,000 trades and you're profitable on 550 and you lose money on 450. We need that sample size for the computer to say, okay, this is what the zone looks like or not. So if you think about it, if you're making like 4 trades a day, it'd take us like 2 years to train to your brain. So the reason the active trading thing is there is, it's just a sort of statistical thing. The other thing is, if you want to make money and you're right 62% of the time, if you got a lot of trades, you can make money pretty much every day. If you're doing it 3 or 4 times a day, again, luck can really have a lot to do with it. And so that's the reason for the criteria. But, again, people have said, is it supposed to say 30 to 40? That is what it's supposed to say. And frankly, we've got a lot of people who do qualify for this. I understand on the phone, some of you guys do qualify and some of you don't. And we do hope to expand this. But for now, this is what we've got to be working with. Yeah.
Yeah. So David, thank you so much for typing in, but this is perfect for you, Mr. Wygant, right? So I know that you qualify for this, and this is exactly what you need. There's a lot of you who need this, and a lot of you who qualify right now. So Mr. Wygant, this is all about you, brother. I know you extremely well, obviously. And so this is your thing. You absolutely must sign up for this. And for those of you who aren't sure, we're going to get more information in just a moment, but let's just do some quick Q&A just so that we can continue to progress. I did mention earlier, and so did David, that this is extremely safe, right? This is an FDA approved medical device. It's very easy. It's very simple. You've seen what it looks like. It's not wild or crazy. It takes 5 minutes to put on. Again, nothing. And you can use other Bluetooth devices, earpieces, all that kind of good stuff. And we're going to talk about this in just a moment. But when you're talking about getting information on your brain while you trade, we're going to be doing that in the future. But for right now, all the reports are retrospective. We're going to be looking at and showing you what a report looks like in just a few moments for those who are staying here to get more information. But you're going to be wearing the headset for approximately 6 weeks while we gather baseline brain and trade data. So no automated trading will happen. Talk a little bit about that, David.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was responding to the text. I lost my focus. Which one did you want me to talk about?
Yep, no worries. So just talk about the
baseline. Yeah.
Yep.
So thank you. So again, we got to train the thing to your brain. So the way it works is for the first 6 weeks, imagine you're making 40 trades a day and we need 1,000 to train the thing, right? So actually that's only probably 4 weeks or something. But basically what we need to do is we need to watch about 1,000 trades. And by then we're going to know, okay, can we predict the future? Once we do that, then we start doing the live trading. So for the first, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that, you get the $2,800 a month as the baseline. We'll trade it. Once we've got it and we say, okay, now we figured out your brain, we can predict it. Then what we'll do is we'll build the center book and then we'll start, trading it. And then, you'll get a profit share basically, where once we hit enough profit, you'll start to get money flowing from that as well. And, sort of on top of the 2,800.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's beautiful.
And I also want to say, and you'll see this in a couple slides, the other thing which we're providing, which traders seem to be pretty pumped about, is you get a report every week. We don't have the ability at the moment, we will in the future, but we don't have the ability to give you real-time reporting yet. But we do come in at the end of every week and say, hey, look, this is what your brain looked like over the week. You can look at every trade, you'll see the report. And, because it's still a small program, we're working with everybody to try to figure out how to make the reports better. And so what is exciting about this phase is we're kind of building this thing together. And so it's a really good deal. Like it makes a lot of extra money, and we're kind of creating something cool together.
Exactly. Creating something very, very cool. Carl says, after the short-term data gathering exercise, are there any plans for using this technology within RLT in the future? So Carl, great question, but that's what we're doing. We're bringing this into RLT. Real Life Trading right now is the only company that is offering and having this program. There's nothing else like this that even exists. So Joe asked a very good question though, David. Are the 30 to 40 trades per day required after the baseline is established?
I mean, that's got to be pretty much how you trade. Look, it's not a hard and fast rule. If you're doing 25 trades some days, that's fine. The core thing is, if you come in and you're doing 10 or 15 trades a day, we can't make the program work. And it's just not going to be economically viable. And so it's got to be kind of how you trade right now. And over time, we do hope to get to the point where there's more securities and you can trade less. But for now, this is where we are.
Yep, which is fine. Again, team, not everyone's going to qualify for this, and that's all right. But we want to at least bring you, be aware of this, because there will be people on this call that do qualify, a lot of you. And it's not going to be all of you, but it will be a lot of you. And for those who love to trade, for those who are actively trading, for those who have legit trading capital, and for those of you who want to get paid to do what you're already doing, this is an incredible opportunity. This is a remarkable thing. So with that being the case, let's kind of continue. And as you guys throw any questions, feel free to do so. But let's type in a 4 if you want to kind of see what one of these brain reports look like. All right. So for those of you who are still here with us, here's kind of what this looks like for just a moment. So David, let's talk about what this shows. Talk about what the prediction and the probability shows.
Yeah. So this is, basically, this is an interactive report when it actually comes to you. This is just a screenshot of the thing. But basically what you see is over the course of the week, you get to see minute by minute where your brain is. The y-axis you can see is the prediction. And so in this particular case, it goes between 0.54 and 0.61. So we always had a better than even chance in this time of somebody thinking something would be profitable. And then those little yellow dots are when you initiate the trade. So you can look back and say, okay, this was where my brain was when I did this trade. And people find this to be kind of super useful. The other thing is, as I said, over time, we're going to be working to make this report better. So, 6 months or a year from now, it's going to be a lot more robust. But anyway, this is what we got right now. And, I got to tell you, I think people are finding it very interesting and valuable. And it's super fun to work on it.
Totally. And just from a random question, David, do you notice, is the flow state higher in the mornings, or is it vary per person?
I mean, I think the whole point is, by getting this information, you can learn your own unique patterns. So everybody's different, right? And so there's not, I wish it was the case that it was like, it's always better between 8 o'clock and 8:10 or whatever. But, like some people have a fight with like their partner and they get into a better brain state, and other people have a fight and some people lose money and they get better. It's like, it's weird, but it's very cool to have the information because you can use it.
Yeah, precisely. So again, team, you can all see how just fantastic and extremely intriguing this is. And this will be, as I mentioned in the beginning, without the hype, this is game changing. This is remarkable. This is a one of a kind thing. So wildly unique, massively, incredibly phenomenal, really not overhyping this at all. We're talking wonderful, wonderful pieces of information. So for those of you who already know that you're in and who are already excited, here's what we're going to be talking about now, because there are going to be some requirements of what you're going to have to do to take advantage of this. Keeping in mind, when I say taking advantage of this, we're going to be paying you to trade. So all those things being said, you are going to need to bring money into T3. Almost every single one of you have heard of T3. It's an extremely, extremely popular platform. So you're going to have to be trading. That is what Optios links with presently. So when I say T3, all right, it's not TD Ameritrade, it's not Interactive Brokers, it's not Charles Schwab, it's not Fidelity. You're going to have to bring trading capital to T3, right? So at least 50K. So you have to put some legit currency with T3, because that's, again, just to reiterate, the platform that the Optios brain scanning technology links with. Then you're going to have to learn how to use the trading platform to execute trades on T3. So for my advanced traders, that'll take you 18, maybe 45 minutes of practice looking at the buttons. It's all the same thing. You guys have all heard of Sterling, most likely, and you've all heard of T3. And on the T3 platform, regardless, it's an extremely incredible platform anyway, and you can still trade futures, options, cryptocurrencies. But right now, we're going to be only trading the equities for the Cinderbook. And by saying the Cinderbook, that's that separate pool of capital that will be taking your algorithmically approved trades. Jason said they are a prop firm too. Yes, that is correct. So you will be getting additional capital as well on top of the capital that you bring in. Gina says, how many days a week are required? That's a good question. I mean, my assumption is 5, but David, I could be wrong.
I mean, I think bottom line is, if you think, if you think that look, we're looking for a certain number of trades, we're looking for a certain amount of seriousness. If you're basically professional and you only trade whatever 3-4 days a week, if we get enough trades, we can make it work. If you're trading a day a week, it's probably not going to work. I mean, the bottom line is, I think what we'd love to do is, if you think you qualify, there's a survey Jeremy will show you. Fill it out. We'll get on the phone with you. We're looking for partners, and obviously we're going to try to be flexible here. This is, as long as this works for everybody, we'll make it work for you.
Yep.
And so, again, I want to just clarify. T3 is a phenomenally good firm. They have exceptionally good traders. They are a prop firm. They do provide capital. I think it's a really good system. You can trade a lot of securities on it. At this moment, we're working only with equities. We are working very hard to get options on the platform. I don't know how many, I mean, I think it's probably weeks rather than months away, but, at the moment, we're not doing that. Over time, of course, we're going to expand the number of securities we're doing. It's in our interest. From Jason, bring options and we'll talk. All right, Jason, we can get back to you when we're doing options. I think there's a couple of guys from my firm who are on the phone who I can't see them, but I'm sure they are nodding very seriously saying, okay, we got to get the options going. It's a matter of, it's just a systems issue getting it there.
Sure. Sure. And someone typed in the chat pane right now that you do this, but you take that many trades, but you're only trading options on the SPY or on the indexes. Yeah, just convert it to trading stock. And again, keeping in mind that if you know that you already qualify for this, you already figure out and find out that this is comfortable for you, that this is easy for you, there's no downside risk to trying it. Keeping that in mind, right? There's no downside risk. So meaning if you already take 18 trades per day in and out, right? So if you buy and sell, that's 2. If you're already taking 18 trades, you're literally getting paid to ratchet it up just a little bit more. Because what if you break even? Hear me out for a second, team. Just hear me out. What if you break even and you're taking a bunch of trades, but the Cinderbook algo is profitable? We're still going to pay you. I mean, let this sink in for a second. This is really, really fantastic. GW. Now, this is a great question, but I mean, in my opinion, that's a no-brainer. G said, I will meet the requirement, but I only take 30 to 40 trades, usually within the first hour of the trading day. Yeah, that's fine. That's not an issue. It doesn't have to be all day, because, and here's the truth, man. And for everyone else who's watching, the truth is we want to be profitable. We want to make some good money. We want to be able to understand how this can work for your brain, how this can work for the science, how this can work for the data. We need a lot of data points. If you're taking a bunch of trades and you know that you're profitable, or you're very, very close to being profitable, we want you to just try this out and let us know if this is a capability for you, because this can be so huge. for not only you, but for us as well. So what is in it? Just to reiterate.
Jeremy, let me just pause and try to answer some of the questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I just want to kind of, so people are saying, I just want to go through these, if you don't mind. So Thomas Wong writes, I'm assuming separate fills don't count. That's correct. It's got to be a new trade. So if you do 4 fills on the same trade, you know, if you enter into a SPY trade or you enter into an Apple trade, that's one trade for all intents and purposes. So David Helfrich, I don't know how to say your name and I apologize, but you said if you haven't been doing this for the last year, but we'll commit to doing it going forward, but do you qualify? You know, the answer is, if you've been doing 5 trades and I mean, bottom line is, yeah, if you can do it and you think you can make money at it as a trader, as long as you do that kind of volume, we would love to work with you. So Scott Jeffrey says, what kind of time frame do you trade? Most of the people we're working with are going in and out over the course of hours, not minutes, not, you know, several days. So, you know, we've got people who are holding trades over, you know, 2 or 3 days, but let's say normally what you got is people are entering a trade around 10 or 11 in the morning and they're exiting, you know, sometimes at noon, sometimes at 4 in the afternoon. When people are going very, very quickly, we can get slippage in the center book. So it's actually kind of ideal to have a 3 or 4 hour hold time. But again, if you're interested, what we should do is get on the phone and talk about your unique situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's so many other questions. I think.
Oh, there's so many, but here's a valid one that you may know the answer to, David. So what are the fees on T3 when you're taking this many trades? Like,
you know, I actually, I don't know the specific. I mean, I know that they've got market competitive commissions. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a trading platform, which, you know, I think is very competitive and well liked. So you'd have to look at their fee schedule. Obviously there's a kind of a market-based, you know, commission associated with all of the trades, but I think they're market competitive.
Yeah. So Thomas and Jesse,
what's the profit sharing rate? So what we're doing is we're basically sharing 10% of the upside P&L from the center book. I mean, for the trader, it's pretty straightforward, and we can typically trade. If it's really profitable, we can trade about 5 times as much as you do. So if you're trading, you know, whatever, $100,000, we can trade 500. And if we can make more money, if you do the math in your head, 10% of that can actually be a meaningful impact on your income. 10% of the profit, not
sure.
It's, of course, it's the profit. So what's happening is, as the center book is making money, we take whatever profits come out of it. You get 10%. You know, T3 gets a piece of it. We get a piece of it. That's the way it's kind of working. If we lose money, you're not at risk at all. You've got that 2,800 guaranteed.
Yeah.
But of course, if we're losing money consistently, you know, you can imagine it's not going to
work out well.
It's not going to work out, right? But I mean, our expectation is most people, if you're doing the right kind of trading, this seems like it should work quite well.
Yeah. Shane says the 2,800 guaranteed is rather nice in and of itself. Absolutely. So again, team, this is obviously limited. We realize that not everyone on this call is going to be able to qualify, and not everyone on this call wants to do this. But if you know that you want to, and you know that you're even close to qualifying, or that you could qualify, or you're just extremely, extremely interested, as in you would do this, you just need a lot more information, let me post the link in the chat pane. Okay. The link is free to fill out. It's a typed form. So I'm going to click on it just so you can kind of see what it looks like. So it's not scary. So when you click on it, this is what it looks like. And you're just going to kind of be filling this out. We're going to ask you a series of questions, see how well you fit the criteria. Okay. So as you fill out the form, it's free. This is, again, not a sales call because we're literally paying you. So I just want to make sure that you're all aware of that. So if you find that this is like, wow, this is going to be really, really fascinating, try it. Fill out the form, chat with David's team. If it's a yes, incredible. Our truest expectation, so that you all are aware, is we feel like if 10 people get across the finish line and say yes to this and sign up and are wearing this brain scanning technology by June 1st, this will be a very, very large home run. That's an expectation. So when I say 10, I want you to realize that this is real numbers here. If we get more than that, fantastic, but this is obviously limited for numerous reasons that I'm sure all of you can understand. So I get it that not all of you are going to qualify. I don't expect all of you to qualify, but I wanted all of you to be aware that this is happening and that your boy brought you some incredible, phenomenal, game-changing, industry-shifting possibilities and opportunities. Type in a 1 if you agree. All right. Tuana says, why is $100,000 required if only $50,000 needs to go?
You know what? The thing is, if you got $50,000 of trading capital, please fill out the form. We got the $100,000 is, you know, kind of, it's essentially it's something to prove to us that you're kind of serious. I mean, well, this is a little bit of a judgment call. What we're doing is we're, you know, there's a lot of people on this call who are just learning to trade. There's people who are professionals. If you're doing this professionally and you have real capital, we'll figure it out. T3 is going to have a requirement that they won't open an account with less than 50K. And so that's kind of the way it works.
Yep.
Why not go for huge participation with a lower trade count? These are great questions. Scott, the reason we're doing the large number of trades is scientific. We can't train to your brain until we've looked at 1,000 trades. So if you don't do a lot of trades, I mean, that's awesome for the way that you trade. It's just not working for us right now. Over time, we're going to look for a lower trade count, but right now we're looking for active day traders. Yeah. And the fact is, you know, you just understand we're working with people who make, I mean, literally millions of dollars a year on their trading. So these guys, you know, these guys do know what they're doing. It is possible to trade that kind of strategy. Yeah.
And again, I think that makes tons of sense personally.
Yeah. George, can you be disqualified or fired? I mean, the bottom line is we hope that if we do our job right, that the thing is going to work for you. But obviously, if we train to your brain and our system doesn't work, you know, then, you know, it's not going to continue. So the truth is, yeah, there is a risk that what happens is you do it and you get paid for 2-3 months. I don't think there's any way, if you're trading that kind of volume, it's going to go at least 3 months. But I mean, I guess if 3 months go by and our system doesn't work on your brain, we're going to have to let you know and say, look, you know,
sure,
it's a, you know, there's a risk, but we're not going to put money down and pay you and go through all this training if we don't think it's going to work.
Yep.
So
beautiful. And again, team, it's absolutely okay. There's a lot of you saying, hey, I don't qualify right now, but now I have a goal. That's also fantastic, right? Type in a 6 if you're like, hey, this isn't for me, but in the future, maybe 3-4 years, this is a goal for me. I love it. Get good goals, right, team? For those of you who know you already qualify, you're already excited about it, you know that this is fired up, you're ready, you're willing, you're capable, and you have tons and tons of desire to be wearing a headset, me flying to your house, taking a photo with you, putting it all over social media. Fill out the form. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link to the form will be below. But if you're here in the chat pane, if you're here in the Zoom live, if you have money, you take a lot of trades and you want to be a part to help science and to create the future of trading technology, I entirely think you should do this. By the way, Jesse Levan, I'm talking to you, bro. This is for you. I see no reason why you shouldn't do this. There's a lot of you that I know personally that I'll be reaching out to make sure that you do this, because some of you might be the little chicken pants. Don't be chicken pants. Fill out the form, at least have a chat with David and his team, find out, get some more information, and figure out what's going to happen. So here's the next steps, just in case you're not clear. Next steps, fill out the form, do an interview with the team. You're going to be providing some documentation because, again, this is it's obvious, right? This is a financial transaction between two parties. So we're going to make sure you do some documentation. Then you're going to set up an account. You're going to get trained and you're going to start making money. Terry said, I'll be first when you come to Canada. Well, I mean, that's a valid question. Like, what part of Canada? Like, if it's, you know, in the total frozen tundra.
Oh, Vancouver. Vancouver Island, by the way, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world, but we can't work with you because of the geography. I'm sorry. But honestly, I'd rather live in Vancouver Island and not make $2,800 a month if it was me. So that's awesome. I'm sorry, but hopefully we'll get there soon.
Yeah. All good.
And Terry has an awesome fishing boat. All right, we'll get there soon.
Marcus says, what's the long-term plan with this?
Oh man, I could spend a lot of time talking to you about this. We believe that this is going to wind up ultimately being transformational technology to the whole finance industry. We're starting with day traders, but you know, we're having the opportunity to talk to some of the largest, you know, financial platforms in the world, the Citibanks and the 0.72s of the world. I mean, the truth is, we and they believe that 5 years from now, you're not going to be able to operate in that industry without this kind of technology. And one of the exciting things here is, I think when you do join the platform, you're going to be helping us to create that future. But, you know, yeah, I think our expectation is that this is going to be foundational tech. We're very excited about it. And there's opportunities outside of trading too. It's part of a much larger industrial transformation.
Yep. Love it. Joel says, this is the perfect thing at the perfect time. Thank you, Jeremy and David. Ah, you're welcome, Joel. Thanks so much, man. I agree. Super, super excited. Amanda says, David, how can we find out more about what you do? Honestly, Amanda, you can Google him. My boy, David's a big deal.
The truth is, if you go to our website, you're going to realize we're in total stealth mode. You're not going to be able to figure out anything about what we're doing from the website.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. You know, we got this issue of like, we're trying to kind of, we've got a first mover advantage at the moment, and we're doing our best to maintain it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not exactly under wraps, Amanda, but it was until 2-3 months ago. So
yeah. So anyway, team, this is extremely fascinating. And Michael says, does it work on a Mac? It's a great question, but I mean, the answer is yes, of course, right? Because the T3 platform isn't independent on any particular program. So as long as you can interact with T3, aka do you have internet and a processor, right? This is not going to work on a cell phone, but it will work on any type of computer. Yeah. So hey, that's a great question. I'm all about it. So I like it.
Hey, Jason, I know you only trade options, but it sounds like, I mean, we really could potentially be doing options very soon. So please do let us know how to, you know, how to connect with, because it could be like 4 or 5 weeks till we can get back to you and say, hey, look, you know.
I still think you should fill out the form, Jason, personally. I know Jason very well, David. I still think you should do it, Jason. Just chat with him so that you can be on the Rolodex.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to have a 20-minute call with you.
Yeah. So team, here's the agreement. Fill out the form, connect with David's team, complete 2-3 months of the headset, learning your brains, get some trades in, get some data. Let's pay your mortgage. I'm sorry. I mean, I know it's terrible. I'm really, really terrible about that. So sorry.
Well, hopefully people's mortgage is going to be more than $2,800 by the time they're done with the program.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
Just out of curiosity, could I ask for, you got this number, like, could everybody who's going to fill out the form just type in a 7? I'm just curious how many people here are going to do this. 1, 2. Wow.
There we go.
Cool.
Yep. So awesome. We're gonna get some people. Jeremy, very excited about you doing this as well, man. So that's awesome. Kristen, no worry, we'll be posting a recording soon. Craig, I love it. GW, fantastic. Jacob says, can we see some of the data if we're not participating? No. That's the answer. I love you, but no. At some point, Jacob, again, this is gonna be more and more progressive. And keep in mind, this is not a one-time thing with me and David. This is not, we're disappearing. You're never gonna hear from me or David again. We're going to have tons of things we're going to be doing in the future. David and I already had a really in-depth discussion yesterday that we're quite confident we'll have webinars every, 2-3 months, maybe, to update people, give people some insights, give people some information, because our goal is to change the game, team. RLT has already done it a few different times in the past. You know how we do. We took the overall trading education game by storm, and now we're doing it again because David is an incredible man who spent so much of his time, energy, knowledge, and career and wisdom in providing something that is so brand new to the marketplace. So for those who are typing in a 7, thank you. This is going to be so fun. And we already got at least 12 people who've typed in 7s. So I'm really excited about it. All right, let's do just 5 or 10 more minutes of questions. Scott says, if you can do 30 to 40 trades a day with each trade duration being able to go over an hour or so, you must have to do many simultaneous trades in different symbols. Do you know?
For questions like this, if you think you might qualify, fill out the form and let's talk to you separately. You know, the fact is, if you haven't figured this out, I'm a neuroscientist, I'm not a trader, but we got people who are experts. So Scott, the bottom line is, if you think maybe you qualify, and you think maybe you don't, fill out the form. Let's talk for 10, 15 minutes. We'll know.
There you go. Yeah. And again, team, there's no negatives. There's no downsides to filling out the form. We're not charging you money to fill the form out. You guys fair on that? We're not, this is not a sales call. You're not going to get bombarded. We're not selling your information. You guys know how RLT works. That's not our game. We just want to know who to work with. We want to know how to pour into individuals. We want to know how to enrich lives. There's still 114 people on the webinar. We had 300 at one point, and then when people started realizing, right, the information,
They don't qualify. Yeah.
all good, but we're here to provide extreme value, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't thought about this already, and it's okay, but for those who did type in a 7 and for those who are filling out the form, there is a very large possibility, extremely large possibility, that we're going to have a really good trader holding your hand, all getting together, trading together so that we can make a bunch of money together simultaneously. You know what I'm talking about? Any winks out there? Huh?
So we got 7 million votes from Gino alone. So there you go.
So you know, it's just a guess. Who knows? There's a good possibility that you're gonna have. So anyway, I'm sure you guys all thought through that. But let me post the link one more time in the chat pane, Peter. He was asking where the link is. We'll post it one more time. John says maybe one day when options are included. John, options will be here in a few weeks, man. So fill out the form.
We hope a few weeks. It's going to be a few months at the worst. Yeah. I like Joel's question.
Yeah, get on the Rolodex, John, just in case. Joel says, if you can flip a coin 40 times a day, one side is negative 300 and one side is plus 1,000 with 50% odds. Couldn't you try to flip that coin 50 times? That's right, baby.
That's our math.
I'm with you, Joel. That's the math that I live by, my dude. That is what I live by. So I'm all about it. Everyone, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. It means the world to me that you're here. I'm very, very excited that you're all so thrilled and energized and hyped up about this opportunity. It means the world to me that you trust me with your energy and your time. So thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have an incredible rest of your weekend. I love you tons. And until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. See you later. Bye.